evening, freaks. I'm here to give Sagittarius Descendant, Gemini rising, a summer of love, wild card read straight from the hip with lots of lip. And we are diving into the summer season, which we just had kick off yesterday with the summer solstice. So I hope you all enjoyed that longest day of light in the year. We are looking at specifically love and romance in this read, okay? And I felt really compelled to pull out the big guns for you all right? I think it's going to be a big summer for you. There's a lot shifting for you in terms of matters of the heart this summer, all right? I'm using the deck where I've combined all three, the Angel Tarot, the Occult Tarot, and the Arcane Bullshit deck. This has been thoroughly shuffled. I've shuffled each section naturally. You know, that's a big old deck. Look at that big old deck. We're going to go ahead and divide it up here for y'all so you can see while I drop in with you. Okay. I got an initial download that came in for you guys, and that's that you've been in this position where, you know, you just feel like things are too, a little too undefined in the matters of love and romance. You know, normally you like that. Normally you like for things to be kind of loose and free flowing. But I feel like you're encountering a bit of confusion around this, the lack of definition in your situations, what you're dealing with. I feel like the reason why there's this like lack of definition in your situation and why it's leading to this place of confusion is because there's no communication, no effective communication. Some of you that are single and, you know, you haven't been getting any action, which I do feel there is a large sector of Sagittariuses that are kind of in that boat. They're just sort of like keeping their energy to themselves. They're focusing more on finances, okay? More on something they can actually see, feel, touch, you know, that shows that there is growth. Maybe they were dealing with a lot of situations where they felt like they invested a lot of time and energy in matters of love and there wasn't the growth there. That was super disappointing. You know, it's like, no, if I'm going to put my time, energy somewhere, I want to see something for it, okay? So a lot of Sages have sort of diverted their energy to focusing on finances. They're like, hey, you know, this I can count on. You know, if I invest my time and energy building this for myself, I actually get somewhere. There's a reward in it. Some of you have felt like the payoff in love and romance hasn't been very rewarding. Some of you have been dealing with people who are just kind of like user energy. You know, they only think of what they can get out of the situation. Some of you have been acting in the shadow. You're running this energy. You know, pick what side you're on. We are in middle of an eclipse season. All right. Here's what I'm going to do, y'all. I'm going to just take a section of this deck as I continue with this download, and that's what I'm going to use for your read. All right. We're just going to take this portion off the top here. So whenever I feel called to bring out this deck, I know that you got a lot going on spiritually in your situation. So whatever you're going through in matters of love this summer, Sag, it's more than skin deep. Maybe you've been dealing with a lot of people where it's been kind of skin deep, you know, a little superficial in your connections, you know. It's that kind of hookup culture. You're wanting something more. You're wanting something more. You're wanting to really get into that ninth house that you are the ruler over. You want some expansion. You want to have growth, you know. You want to have growth. You're not interested in investing your time and energy in anything where there isn't growth, and this absolutely applies in matters of the heart. And because you're kind of in this like ambiguous place right now, I feel the ambiguity is not just coming from the situations you find yourself in romantically, Sagittarius. I feel like it's also coming from within you, okay? Like you're not even sure what you want right now. You're going through a process where you're kind of like looking at where you've been romantically, what love has meant for you up to this time. Has it been rewarding? You know, what part have you played in things going sour in some of your situations? And where have you sort of been settling when you're not being honest for yourself and you're really wanting something more? And then there's the piece of like, are you going to keep settling for like some half price hot wings, or are you going to hold out for the main course? You know, you're starting to kind of like look at these things like what really is going to fulfill you, what's really going to satisfy you when it comes to matters of the heart. And I think you realize that in a lot of cases, you've kind of been like going for quantity instead of quality. You know, you've been going for like, I got this like side attraction energy instead of really going for, you know, the main event. I don't know. There's something about this. I think that's it's sort of like I got like big Templeton energy, life is a smorgasbord, and you know that's kind of very Sagittarius energy. And just as I say this, this card flipped out here. Okay, it's from the occult tarot, came in as kind of a crossing influence. Yeah, we got the sun here. All right. The sun, boon, makes one rich, smart, and well-spoken, gathers spirits at tombs, and changes the places of the dead. You know, yeah, I think that you're letting some things just be, you know, done and dusted, you know. In a lot of cases, you were picking bones with something that, you know, it was better left alone. It was better left to rest, you know. Maybe you had a bone of contention, but you're not like seeing situations clearly. You're still seeing situations through eyes of the past. That version of you is gone, you know, the version of that person is gone. A lot of you have been like looking at past relationships. Problem is, you know, sometimes you're dealing with these past loves in one way, shape, or form. They're kind of coming back around. Your connections with them are coming back up for review. In a lot of cases, there's something mirroring in your present relationships. For those of you who are connected, where it's like it's reminding you of a relationship you've been in the past. It's sort of like an opportunity to close the gap, come full circle in your love relationship with yourself. Like, have I grown from this experience, or do I continue to put myself through this cycle, wash, rinse, repeat on this constant like spin cycle where I'm living out the same relationship, but just with a different face put on it? Okay, there's something about this. You're looking at a lot of this here. I also feel like you're finally getting it. Like sometimes you should just let sleeping dogs lie. You know, there's a reason why you walked away from certain connections. There's a reason why you decided to turn your back on certain connections, or there's a reason why people turn their back on you. In some cases, this is being reflected back at you. You're starting to get a little bit more understanding where things have been clear. This sort of like begins to dissolve that bone of contention you had, that bone you wanted to pick. You're starting to have a little bit more compassion come in some situations. Also, for some of you, those that you were dealing with, they're starting to have, you know, a little more compassion for you, like shoes on the other foot. They're starting to understand what it's like to step into your shoes. It's a harsh dose of truth. It's a hard jolt of reality. Ooh, yes. It's all about like shedding this illusion, you know, what was veiled before, what couldn't be seen, you know, and what had you like fumbling around in the dark, constantly missing the mark, right? This is starting to become illuminated, you know? You know, and maybe you've been really like letting somebody have it. You know, you see this figures on their knees, like you've really been reading them the riot act, you know? This energy here, the one that's doing all the talking, you know, the words are pretty sharp. This person might be feeling really intimidated, but I think this is because, you know, you're feeling really divided. You know, you're not sure which way to go. This is about really like using the communication in a way that clears the air. You know, you might need to kind of like temper some of your communication just a little bit, all right? just a little bit so people can receive it, you know, because it says here, makes one rich, smart, and well-spoken, well-spoken, all right? You want people to be able to receive what you have to tell them, Sag, okay? When you're communicating what you're feeling, especially in any kind of connection where you're trying to find the way through to like that quintessential happy ending, you know, the light at the end of the tunnel after the challenge, right? We think of fairy tales, right? We think of fairy tales, but people always forget, you know, and they've been so like brainwashed by the Disney ideal that people forget that fairy tales are really cautionary tales, all right? There's always like some kind of wisdom or medicine that comes through fairy tale, 11:11 on the clock. And I do feel like you're coming into alignment with your fairy tale. But the thing about that is everything depends on, did you learn the lesson, right? Because there's always a moral of the story when it comes to a fairy tale. And there's always things that go bump in the night in a fairy tale. And there's always illusions that you have to shed in a fairy tale to arrive at the truth, you know? And I feel like you're at that point of arrival. You're starting to see things in a new way. You're starting to come into this place of truth. I feel like things are really turning in your situations too, where people maybe had you in this position before where you felt like you were just on your knees, or you felt like they had all the power, or maybe they were really aggressive, or there was just something that made you in some way feel like there was an inequity here, like somebody was holding all the power and this is not what you were wanting to create. You're like, you're turning the tables because you're speaking your truth. You're showing, I'm not going to be divided anymore. Like, I know who I am. I know what's right for me. And I'm going to rise up into that. Okay. I feel like that's really happening for you when we hit the changing of the guards with the nodes of destiny. All right. Look for Leo season. This is really going to pop off for you. You are casting off, you know, the illusions, this place that you've been in that has kept you at the crossroads where you convince yourself that you don't know what you want in love, that you can't make a choice. You know what you want. You know what's aligned for you. It just requires that you release a lot. It requires you release a lot of ideas you had about things. It requires that you release, you know, your need for approval from those around you. It requires that you step into your truth and that you like come into a new identity of yourself. Some of you are really like, you're casting away certain like set ideas you've had about love for a long time. And this is playing out on many different levels. Some of you are like, maybe you used to be really open in love. Maybe you just kind of like enjoyed playing the field, or maybe you were like the quote unquote quintessential player. Okay. And now you're like, I don't want that anymore. I don't want to play anymore. I want to be with somebody where my heart is safe being with that person. And I want to grow with someone. And you got to that place because you experienced what it was like to be on the other side. You didn't like it from that vantage point. It showed you something about yourselves. And for others of you, you dealt with somebody like this, and now you're in this position where you finally, you're okay. Like, you're like, it's all right. It's all right if you and I want different things. That's cool. Like, I don't have to force you to want what I want. This coming from some people that are dealing with somebody who maybe is in like some kind of polyamory dynamic, like they want to have an open relationship. You're like, I don't, you know, I don't. And for some of you, it's flip-flop. You want an open relationship, and you know the person that you saw as your other reflection. You know, I don't like saying other half because we're whole people in and of ourselves. You know, but it's like that other person that just feels like, yes, you know, we're in total resonance with each other. You're starting to realize you see things differently than them, and you're not really willing to compromise your vision of love anymore. What feels right for you in your life, and at the same time you're like not needing to be angry about it. You're transforming a lot of your like old stances, but I do see you coming into some kind of happiness with Leo season. All right, it's a beautiful thing, and it's about ending an old cycle so you can really step into this. All right, let's have a look at it. Let's see what else is coming in for Sagittarius Descendant, Gemini rising, for their summer of love. What's coming up in love and romance for Sagittarius Descendant, Gemini rising. Thank you to all the subscribers, and thank you to all the new subscribers. Welcome. I hope you enjoy the weird little world we're creating here, that we're weaving together here, all of us visionaries and creative types. I really appreciate you being here. If you haven't subscribed, consider it. I'm always bringing something new to the table, and I would love to have you here along for the ride. Okay, so yeah, this is very interesting. We have and it's in reverse, all right? It's in reverse. So here's kind of the crux of the problem right now in matters of the heart for you, okay? There's this piece of, you know, you used to always just be like, ooh, a shiny thing. And that's what would draw you in, okay? You were very much drawn to like the passion, the intensity, you know, how something looked. It's magnetizing force, you know, very much like moth to a flame kind of energy. And in the past, you would have this tendency that like, no matter how many times you got burned, no matter how many times you got burned, you would just like keep going back to the same thing. It could be the same person, like you were in this like repeat cycle, this spin cycle with this person that always just took you to, you know, your lowest lows. It was like it was delicious for like a night, a weekend, you know, a week or two, whatever. And then quickly things would start to unravel. Quickly things would start to fall into their old familiar grooves. And eventually one or both of you would get burned, you know, and you kind of like, you got real sick of this, all right? It's almost like it's become like so like formulaic, you know, it's become so outdated. And maybe you were always like dealing with like a quintessential Darth Vader, you know, maybe you played this role, maybe you really like upheld the dark side, or you realized the dark side of this connection. You realized the way that this was like kind of dumbing you down to stay in connections like this. There was no growth in connections like this, you know. Yeah, it burned white hot, but then it was like psh, up in flames, you know, the moth consumed by the flame, but yet never transforming, always in this same place of dealing with this basic stuff. It's got like basic bitch energy all over it. And I feel like you're turning this energy around. Look at, I love it. Like the moth is like, no, I'm diving down deep. I'm diving down deep into that Scorpio South node, all right? You might have been dealing with the Scorpio where you were facing this challenge, okay? But I see you diving down deep. You're going to the light that can be found in the darkness of that Scorpio South node in terms of love and relationships. And so you're looking at your history. You're looking at the ways that you felt, you know, chained in love in the past, the ways that you are wanting like liberation from that. You're wanting to break free from that. And a lot of you are hungering. You're hungering for more substance in terms of love. You're looking for a real like soulful, deep, rich kind of love. You're looking for somebody who can jump out of the frying pan and into those flames of transformation with you. It makes me think of the fire test of truth, okay? The fire test of truth. There's a beautiful, oh gosh, I will try to hunt it down. It's a beautiful like song, okay, on the fire test of truth. And it's just so powerful. I feel like you're in this process in love and romance right now, and it's happening so it can give you that date with destiny. There's a very important soulmate that you are coming into union with. I feel like you're starting to really enter this alchemical process with this though in the summertime. Now, some of you, this is happening in a current relationship. You are in a relationship and you are going through a lot of heavy stuff, but you're sticking with each other through it, even the real dark shit. you're doing a lot of transformational alchemical work together. There's something that's also very beautiful about this. There's like a sweetness, there's like a lightness to be found even within the heaviness, all right? Even within the heaviness, but I feel like all of this is happening. Look at this with the way it looks when it's in reverse. I have to say, this looks like birthing a new world through the destruction of the old, birthing a new reality and love and romance through obliterating the old way. Look at this. I mean, you got to, this is a channel for adults. So if you're under 18, you shouldn't be here. Made it very clear with my channel that this is a place for adult playtime. Okay. But we have real talk around here. We don't mess around. So to me, this really looks like, look, that looks so like, the vag of creation. It does. And I also feel like sexually, you're tired of the base stuff. You're tired of just like going at it like chimps. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't want it to be freaking robotic anymore. The old way is getting old. The kinks that used to turn you on ain't cutting it anymore. Like Tantra is your new kink. Like somebody who can work with the energy body with you is your new kink. Like you're getting a totally different perception of this. I really feel this. And I feel like there's somebody coming in for you in the summertime. You got, some sexual connection coming in. That is going to take you to like a whole other world. For some of you, it might start on a more alchemical basis first. In other words, you start opening up your own sexual energy within yourself through Kundalini activation in the summertime. You start working with your own energy body. And there's something about this, okay? I think that, it's really interesting. I see this, you got this rat trout here. Look, that rat's holding this rose. That makes me think of Templeton. Again, I feel like you're going through some transformation. Maybe it's had a bit to do with the tempering action of Saturn being in Pisces. Saturn is currently going retrograde, though. Eventually, it's going to move into Aquarius, right? And when I think of the rat, I think of the first to greet the Buddha, okay? The rat is really favored, so rats are also highly intelligent. So I feel like you're looking at different qualities that appeal to you in matters of the heart, too. Like, again, like Templeton energy. Maybe in the past, it was 23 on the clock when I went into that. Yeah, it's time for a change. It's time to change everything. Maybe in the past, it was about smorgasbord. More is better, I'm just going to sample, There's something now where you're like, no, I want the rose, maybe because you had to grasp a lot of thorns. Now you're like, I want the rose, I want something more. You're going through a transformation, there you might be going through a transformation through a little bit of tempering too. That might sound strange, but temperance is your card in the tarot, and temperance has one foot in the water and one foot on the land. And I mean, rats are creatures of the land, and they're also creatures of the water. If you think about them running around in the sewers, maybe you ran around in the sewers for a bit. Maybe the type of people that you were dealing with were just like, they weren't on your level, okay? Maybe you got yourself, caught up in some mucky stuff, maybe you got caught up in, stuff that, was really keeping you tethered to an old identity, an old version of yourself. And you thought you'd learned the lesson, but you hadn't. I feel like you've gone through a transformation in this regard. There's something you're tempering here. You're starting to realize what you really want in love. And I feel like there's somebody that's coming towards you, okay? There's somebody that's coming towards you that maybe you used to see one way, but now you're seeing them differently. Like, you're not so stuck in your view of this person anymore. You're open to, seeing a different perspective here. And I feel like you're entering into some growth process, in matters of love and romance. And it's with somebody that you're coming into alignment with. There's a healing process underway here. And there's also understanding that, you know, there's more than just carnal desire and fulfillment. You're looking for something that takes you to a new level. Like you want to swim in the big ocean, you know, you don't want to be stuck in, you know, the pond anymore. You're ready to experience something greater and have that ripple out and have love kind of be what you hold within yourself and let that be what reverberates out from you in life. This is a very interesting message for you. I almost feel like you're really connecting with that love within yourself, and you're becoming the template of what you want to see in your life, the type of partner you want to come into alignment with. Some of you might really be working with different kind of like spiritual tools, you know, metaphysics, meditations, you know, things along this line to really get your frequency right. You're starting to realize that, you know, where you felt like things were fishy in matters of love in the past, or, you know, maybe, you know, you just couldn't trust people. You're starting to recognize that that had a lot to do with the way you were carrying yourself in the old energies you were holding on to, you know, so you're transforming this, you're changing up your own frequency. It draws something different to you. Well, let's see what's on the bottom of the deck here. Okay, we got strength in reverse. Yeah, so I think you are, there's something from the past that you have a little bit of resistance around exploring. You have some anxiety about it, okay? This could be in relation with an earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Yeah, there's something here that's a real burden for you, I feel, with the 10 of Wands, and it looks like it's made an infinite cosmic mess of things, okay? So what we got here is we got strength in reverse. You could also be dealing with Leo. Hakamiya, the raising god, loyalty, delivery from those who seek to oppress brings victory. Well, we see here that there has been some kind of loss in this situation. You also may feel like you're not really in an empowered position in your current situation, because you've had like some challenges in terms of who's loyal to me, you know. You found that there's people who have been disloyal to you. Maybe you've even felt like some of these people have kind of like held you back from something you wanted to move forward with, some way you wanted to, you know, step into love. You know, this, you could feel like there were people who got in the way of, you know, your relationship or somebody you wanted to come together with. There might have been a lot of stress around this with the 9 of Swords. Causes great battles and wars, causes wounds to putrefy. I feel like that's your energy though. Look, with the Archer energy here. So yeah, I feel like you're angry about some situation where you feel like somebody kept you from something that you feel like should have been yours. I mean, that's kind of how it's coming across. I think, you know, you're sort of like in this place where you're still angry about it, you know, but the thing is that these wounds are putrefying. Sort of like as long as you stay in this combative place, it's like, it's actually maybe you're the one who's holding yourself back because you're not stepping into your power to actually like affect change, right? Because you affect change by shooting your shot, all right? Not letting other people kind of determine how things go in this situation. I think you're not giving yourself enough power to like sort of like transform your situation. Like if things are feeling confusing to you and you're feeling like you don't know what's going on, well, maybe it's time to like clear it up, shoot your shot, you know, speak your truth, you know, don't let things be ambiguous anymore. I'm picking up that kind of energy because somebody felt like they got really cut off here, you know, they felt like they got cut off cold. And I think you're in this place right now with the 5 of Pentacles coming up in reverse, where your patience is wearing thin. You know, you're tired of things being secretive. You know, you're wanting things to be out in the open. You might be speaking your truth. That might be rumbling some floorboards I got. All right. rumbling some rumbling some floorboards. It makes me think of, the Telltale Heart, Edgar Allan Poe, it's still ticking. It's still ticking. It's a ticking time bomb. The longer this goes unaddressed, the longer it goes that you hold in your truth. It's like a ticking time bomb. You're going to blow. It's going to make an infinite cosmic mess of things. All right? There's something about this. You can't be in this pressurized place. Some people might be viewing you as combative. You're combative because you haven't been speaking your truth. You're combative because you're dealing with people who won't tell you the truth. You're combative because there's too many secrets around you. And so you don't know who you can trust. It's pretty effed up. It's like people need to start coming correct. You might be losing your tolerance for this, But I feel like there's still some peace here. It's like maybe you've been scared to shoot your shot because there's been a lot of people who've kind of been feeding your head with some BS. And so this has sort of like rocked your confidence a little bit. I think you need to realize that there's something here that you're not aware of. Like only you are keeping yourself out of this loop, all right? And it has everything to do with you withholding, shooting your shot. So for some of you that have been single and you're wanting, something to come in for you romantically, because I do feel like there's some of you that's been going through a real dry spell. Some of you have been choosing, like you're like, I don't want just anybody, all right? I'm tired of the options I have. I'm wanting something more. And some of you have been just choosing to be celibate. You're like, I'm not going to hook up with anybody. But you might be feeling like hungry for some affection, hungry for some attention, hungry for that, that intimacy. So maybe it's like you still need to shoot your shot. Like maybe you need to start putting yourself out in situations where, you're around a different kind of person, different caliber person. Maybe start attending some workshops, going to some different events that are, centered around things that are appealing to you, things that are interesting you, You're going to align with people who see things the way you do. I feel like a lot of you are moving into this more like visionary, you're more expansive. Your energy is more expansive. You're wanting a little something more. But there's this piece, like you've been kind of like, I don't know why I got this, but it's like you've been rummaging in the sewers. And it's like, it's time to like get out of the small pond and get into the big sea. Like you kind of like need to put yourself out there a bit. All right. And you could have been dealing with earth sign energy. Maybe this energy was very bossy, maybe this energy expected you to just, kowtow to them. They were very disruptive. They disrupted your harmony and peace. And they incited more anger, more unrest, whoever this individual was. They were operating in the reverse, all right? This also makes me think of that Taurus North Node. This is like Taurus North Node going south. Remember, rising up into the Taurus North Node is all about, do you value yourself? Are you dealing with people who value you? Are you dealing with people who appreciate your time and energy? Are those you're romantically involved with? Do they give you your flowers? Are you feeling a lack of appreciation? This is like settling. This energy is like settling, and it's like settling for something that burdens you with the 10 of Wands. So I think you're thinking about this differently because we got 10 of Wands, Naniel, spiritual communication, influences, spiritual men. Okay, so it's like, yeah. Like I said, you're wanting to connect like spiritually. You're wanting to connect on a higher level, so it's like, stop wasting time on people who just bring some half step in your way. It's time to dive down deep into a deeper pool and be willing to like let go of the fight for these things that don't want to level up. Right? I feel like you're dealing with people that they don't want to level up. They don't want to grow, or they're just hooked on the superficial, or they're only focused on money, and you're wanting something deeper. What used to appeal to you doesn't appeal to you anymore. And I feel like you're coming into alignment with somebody who's going to appeal to you. Okay. I'm feeling very drawn to move on to a different kind of deck now. All right. I think there were some deeper pools we needed to dive into opening up with your read, because I feel like there's a lot you're trying to sort out it's beyond skin deep. Yeah, you've been working through a lot of stuff. And I also, like I said, a lot of you have been working. You've been focusing on, you know, what you're building for yourself, and you've also been working on yourself. I feel that very strongly. Okay, you've been doing a lot of work on yourself. You don't want to repeat you don't want to repeat your mistakes from the past. You also don't want to be on this continual time loop. You're ready to time hop, you know, you're ready to time hop, and you're ready to get on a new track, you know, something that's operating on a higher level. There's a natural mystic flowing through the air. If you listen carefully now, you will hear. This could be the first moment, might as well be the last. All right, that energy, Bob Marley, natural mystic, you know. There's some like greater current that's flowing through your life that's guiding you forward, and you're just like, you don't understand it, but you're just flowing with it, you know. You're on the scent of the trail. You're feeling your way through. There's something new coming in for you in love. You're moving away from struggle. You're moving away from hardship. You're moving away from that which wants you to stay in a place of suffering, you know, because it leaves you hanging, you know. This energy very, very front and center here. Like, be careful what you bring forward with you. And this could have something to do with your childhood, you know, old strife, suffering, pain, you know, from your childhood. It was 37:33 on the clock when I said that. So I think there's something you're bringing to a close here that has to do with trauma healing from your childhood and the way this has influenced your relationships. For some of you, this could have something to do with the mother, or the way that you saw your mother was treated in relationships, you know. For some of you, it's just old pain from your past relationships that you're still hanging on to, and you keep carrying it forward with you. And so every time you've been entering into a relationship, the reason why you experience turbulence is because you're recreating the same relationship you had before. You really need to release this. You know, the Six of, you know, Swords can be seen as like a death barge. You know, you got to let this stuff flow on. You got to let it be released. You know, the tide washes in and the tide flows out. You know, you got to let this go with the tide. You got to give it over to the tide and let it get transformed and transmuted. You know, I think salt water, I think purification. All right. You might need to get around some salt water. You might need to go take it to the sea. If you're near the ocean, like, go spend some time at the ocean, like, let some stuff go, like, connect with the land and let the land heal you a bit. All right. I also think of tears are salty, right? You know, and it's like, let the tears flow, let yourself cry, let yourself feel it, create some kind of sense of meaning and containing a sacred space around it, you know, respectful space around it. Maybe you have been going through some really deeply cathartic healing process from matters of the heart, and it's been disrespected. And this has been like so painful for you, you know, to have it disrespected by people that you felt were like loyal to you, you know, to not understand the depth of the healing process you've been going through. You feel like somebody spit on something that was sacred to you. I just got that. It has something to do with healing your heart, okay? Healing your heart. I think it's really time to like let this go and let this flow on. Don't bring this pain forward with you, all right? Don't bring this pain forward with you. It's going to keep you in this place that's going to block you, all right? It's going to block you from receiving the love that does want to flow in for you, because you're still looking at things from a self-protective stance. It makes sense, you know. when somebody disrespects you in your vulnerability, like that is such a deep, intense wounding. And, you know, it takes time to let down the drawbridge around the heart. And I feel like what you're needing right now, Sagittarius, is safe spaces to do just that. Safe spaces to do just that. And it first begins with you creating that space for yourself, okay? Right. With that, we got some more information coming out here. Yeah, I mean, your energy very strong. This is what you need to do, okay, in order to come into your center so you can move forward, all right? Right now, you know, with the Chariot, the thing that's interesting to note about the Chariot is that he's not holding any reins, and Sphinxes deal with the mysteries, okay? And look at these two polarities, you know, we have black, we have white, the stark contrast. We also have darkness and light, okay? And so this is about finding the middle way. The middle way is what leads the Chariot forward. And it's about staying out of these polarized views, instead being able to be just open. And what guides this Chariot forward is not your will, but thy will, the will of that one energy. It's you, 4141 on the clock. This is what affects the change. You opening yourself up to allowing your intuition, spirit, inspiration, however you want to relate to that one energy, to flow through you and align you through its gravitational force that pulls you forward toward that thing that is calling you, okay? I feel like you're really allowing yourself to be energetically led toward what you're meant to come into alignment with. And you're doing this work first within yourself, all right, in terms of matters of the heart. And it's interesting. It's like, this is what's happening here, okay? We got the Ace of Wands to the 10 of Swords, and it's coming out of the crossroads like this in the reverse. So this lets me know where in the past you may have been dealing with somebody, they got some double D, all right, or maybe they just really knew how to like rock your world, right? You really enjoy the sexual connection with this person, but I feel like you're doing some cutting of cords, or what I like to call extraction work, because I don't think you should leave any remnants of someone else's energy in your personal auric field, okay? Especially a sexual partner. I feel like this is also the piece that you still have an old lover's energy really like hoarded into you. You all are still siphoning off of each other. And so you might want to do some work around this. It did put out a video about this where I kind of lead you through some work around this. So I'll pin that video in the comments for you all so you can, you know, work through this and do this work. But there's something you need to end here. And for some of you, there's a sexual partner you still have, and you know that this thing it's keeping you in a toxic cycle, and it's about cutting it off, you know, cutting the cord so you can kind of like bring your energy back into you. I feel like this might have also been making you feel confused or clouding your judgment in some way. And again, you know, some of you, it's like it used to just be about the sex. It's not anymore. You're letting that go. You're releasing that. You're realizing it's only holding you back from the full potential of what could be on offer for you. Okay, so with this ending, you know, what comes in for Sagittarius Descendant, Gemini rising in terms of love and romance? Yeah, you're not moving forward impulsively anymore. You're not moving forward recklessly anymore with the Knight of Swords in reverse. You're also thinking a moment, yeah, this is the truth, okay? With the Ace of Swords, you're thinking twice about, how do I communicate my truth? Like, how do I communicate? You're realizing when you come in hot, right? Because you got your ire up, you know, you're feeling activated. So you come in hot, you know, your words kind of hit people over the head, you know, it's a little bit too much blunt with the truth. The tongue is a little too sharp. You're realizing This communication gets me nowhere. You're bringing this into balance. You're learning how to speak your truth from a place of empowerment, you know? You're recognizing to stand in your truth doesn't require you to lose control. That anytime you're feeling like you're going to, you know, slice someone's head off with your truth, that's actually you moving out of your center of power. It's coming from your activation. You're doing a lot of work on this. You're tempering this and you're learning to speak your truth in empowering ways. And I feel like once you come forward and you speak your truth in matters of love and romance, once somebody speaks this truth to you, and for me, Ace of Swords, when it comes to looking at matters of the heart, this is somebody communicating their love, okay? This is somebody being brave enough to not play games, to not manipulate, so that they can try to get somebody maybe to say this first. Like, I want you to say it first, then I win, okay? This, I don't know why that came in, but that might be somebody's power play, like withholding their feelings is a way for them to have a position of power. I feel like this is somebody like getting over their BS. They're getting over their BS. They don't want to manipulate things anymore. They're realizing the only one they're manipulating is themselves. It's keeping them out of the garden of earthly delight, having the kind of love they're really wanting to have. This is a declaration of love, okay? It's a declaration of love. And once this comes forward, it's like, there's something to work with here, all right? There's something to work with here. There's something to stand for, all right? There's something to stand for. It's worth it, you know? It's worth it. It's okay to walk away from something that wasn't fulfilling you because it's going to lead you to the type of love that you're really looking for. It's okay. You know, you spent a lot of time and energy pouring your love and your devotion into this person, into this relationship, okay? But it's okay to say, you know what? I don't want to move forward in that way. I want something more. This is really being decisive. This decisiveness to say, I am ready for the 10 of Cups. I am ready for nothing less than true, total fulfillment in love. This kind of decisiveness to cut off anything that doesn't serve on that level could be dealing with air sign energy. You could have air strongly activated in your chart. I'm also feeling there's a lot of masculine energy here. So I'm feeling whether, you know, you're feminine or not, the whole point is there's a need to come from this place of decisiveness when it's around anything that's been making you feel confused or uncertain. You know, you need to make things very clear and plain. It's this decisiveness. This is what leads you to your 10 of Cups, okay? Your true fulfillment. This is what leads you to your true love, okay? This is what leads you to that ocean of emotion. We got Queen of Cups energy here, water sign energy, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, okay? Yes. And the thing is this is what you're afraid of, all right? Because this is your energy, Page of Wands, right? This is your energy. You're afraid, you know, you're afraid to come forward and communicate what your truth is in this situation because you don't know, will your cup be accepted? You don't know how it will turn out. You see that cup up there, it's concealed what's in that cup, right? And right now you're holding yourself back over a bunch of illusions, or somebody is feeling held back from coming towards you for this same reason. Okay, you could be dealing with fire sign energy as well, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, right? There's the temptation, there's the, you know, is it going to be a blow to my ego? Are they going to chop off my head with that sword? Is it just a castle in the sky, you know? Or do I have enough money? Do they only want somebody who has a lot of money? Or, you know, thinking, does this person only want me for my money? You know, all of this. Or maybe there's a sense of competitiveness around it with that victory wreath there. But you don't know what's in this cup until you take the leap. And the leap involves communication. This communication, it's like, whoa. It's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing with the Tower. Somebody here is overcoming their lower nature. Somebody here is breaking the ties that bind. And somebody here is big time stepping up into their north node, okay? With this 10th house Capricorn energy, you could be dealing with a Capricorn. You could have Capricorn north node. This is really landing it, rooting it in material reality. This is the alchemy. This is the gold. This is the promise of the lovers. Okay? This is the promise of the lovers. You arrive at that true soul union through temperance, all right? Temperance, temperance. But you could sabotage yourself by dealing with anything in a sneaky manner or entertaining anything that keeps you out of balance, all right? In this place of juggling, confused. You know, if you are dealing with any kind of like substance abuse issues, especially with the square Neptune action we got going on, you may need to balance this out, because we see there's not balance here, right? This infinity symbol, it's out of balance. It needs to be tempered. It needs to be brought into balance. You also had strength in reverse. Strength, the Empress in strength has, you know, that imbalance. If you want these two ships to stop passing in the night, you want to bring these things together, you first have to bring yourself into balance. You know, you got to get your own stability going. All right. I feel like there's something that you need to deal with, and there's something that you're going to be dealing with. You're in a transformational process, okay, with the moon energy here. But after you do this integration work, this healing work, whatever that looks like for you, you do unite with a soulmate. You do. With the Six of Cups here, all right? Cut of the deck energy. Right now, you know, you're kind of in the dark. You don't know how this thing is going to turn out, but I do see some kind of seed being planted. You are going to move forward with something. You're moving forward very carefully, and, you know, you're laying down a real stable foundation for this. You know it's going to take some work. You're willing to make the investment, all right? But it's going to take time to bring this to the 10, to the full fruition. You're just planting this seed now, all right? So it's like being in it for the long haul. And there's something you have to bring to completion first, all right? Before you arrive in this place of really stepping into that north node of destiny with the King of Pentacles, okay? And what that requires. It's interesting because this energy was in reverse initially. This brings that Taurus north node back into balance, okay? You have to be in it. You have to be in it to win it. You have to commit to it. This is about seeing something through. Seeing something through. You might need to close a cycle here with a fixed sign. That would be Leo, Taurus, Aquarius, Scorpio, all right? There might be something you need to bring a close here. This is what brings you success and brings you into alignment with your soulmate, all right? So there's definitely something you need to free yourself from here, and this is where the work to be done is, all right? Got that Eight of Pentacles, doing the work to set yourself free, all right? It's all about you. Only you can free yourself from your own mind, all right? And this is the Judgment, all right? So there is something that is coming back around from the past to heal. And I see you really stepping into empowerment with it. It's on offer, you know? It's up to you. It's up to you what you do with that. Let's get you a Halloween oracle, just an overarching theme for you. For me to be drawn to that, maybe Halloween this year after eclipse season closes will be really significant for you. Maybe there's something you're going to be celebrating in love and matters of the heart on Halloween this year. Coming in. I think fall is going to be a really good time for you. I think that there's a lot of work you're doing around yourself and getting stabilized in your own life and healing. Doing the healing work. Some of you might enter recovery programs. Some of you might enter into therapy. Some of you are just doing some kind of spiritual exploration. You're devoting yourself more to your spiritual path, and you're cutting off what doesn't work, like old patterns of behavior in love. And this is leading you to the one you're meant to align with. Yeah, look at this. werewolf, exploring wildness. So again, it's you getting more into that like energy body and like feeling your way through things. You're getting out of your head a bit. You're moving into expansion and something that's really just going to like make you feel alive again. I love it. Like looking, you're in this moon period right now, right? But look, it's electrifying. Look, just like the tower. You know, there's something that you learn from this experience of time of, you know, spiritual exploration and doing your healing work, that you see things in a new way, and then you know where you belong. Ooh, all right. American theme. Yeah, look at this. Owl, wise scene, wise action. Again, you know, moon energy. So I do feel like this is kind of your theme right now. You may feel like you're going through kind of a dark time, or you don't know where things are going, but it's sort of like there's so much wisdom you're gaining from this, and it's going to lead to wise action. And I believe you get a harvest in love in the fall, right? So I do think that there is something that is, you know, calling you forward. I feel in summertime, I feel like it comes to its culmination on Halloween for some reason. Ancestors, the love and legacy of our DNA. Yes, again, I feel like there's something that you're healing that's very deep. And I feel like a lot of you are, you know, you're breaking generational curses. There's been like some kind of pox, you know, that's played out in your bloodline, and it expresses itself through you in how you've experienced love and your ability to receive love. And there's something you're really transforming here. You could deal with like a generational history of, you know, abusive relationships in your family bloodline. You may have found yourself in the position of, you know, being subservient in a relationship like that. On the contrary, you may have found times that you tried to exert too much control to feel safe, you know, in relationship. I feel like it's playing out on different levels. I feel like you're doing a lot of this generational healing work, and it's aligning you. It's aligning you with a new direction. And we got spider. Community and web weaving. I think you're definitely part of weaving a new way forward in love. And I think you're going to be opening up to a new network of people. You're going to start dropping in with different people, and this is going to bring a whole new beginning for you. But first, there's something you have to close. It's very clear. All right. There's something you have to close with the death here. The moth imagery, it came in again. So moth is a totem for you during this cycle. I really encourage you to look up moth as a totem and really grok its medicine. Maybe I'll even do a write-up here on BroadCoven to support you all in that. Ted Andrews is also great. He wrote Animal Speaks, and he's got a lot of good information too, so you might want to Google that. But this imagery is coming forward very strongly for you. The eternal cycle begins here, okay? So as you release control with the zombie, and as you let go of the things of the past, all right? And you practice this emotional transparency in speaking your truth with the invisibility here, authenticity. You arrive here. Some new beginning rises up out of the ending with the skull of stars and infinite possibilities. Sounds beautiful, actually, if you think about it.